If you follow this video, you'll learn how to make relleno de papa, stuffed potato ball. Oh, this little table's legs are broken. Mmm. 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 Alright, watch the video. Alright people, so today I'd like to show you how I make relleno de papa. Relleno de papa means stuffed potato balls. Well, there's no ball on it. Well, whatever. I'm going to make stuffed potato balls Latin style. You can stuff it with ground beef, ground turkey. You can stuff it with a vegan or a vegetarian filling. So yeah, that's what I'm going to make today. And if you see me on the street and you want one, you got to be like, "Hey papa, can I have a papa?" Otherwise I won't give you one. Alright. Alright, so let me show you my ingredients. This is half of a 5-pound bag of potatoes. I'm going to wash them, I'm going to scrub them, and I'm going to cut them into, cube them, maybe half and half, quarters maybe. You're also going to need some breadcrumbs. I like to make my own breadcrumbs. You're going to need some flour because you're going to dredge the potato ball. Alright, so this is just a dish full of flour. You're also going to need 3 eggs. So I have 3 medium-sized eggs. We're going to deal with these. If you are going to be straight like vegan with this, there's egg substitutes. Like some people use applesauce, some people use, other things to, other ingredients to substitute eggs. We're also going to use some crumbs, about a tablespoonful. And your seasonings, I've showed my seasonings like a billion times before, so I won't bore you with that. And I also have some nice ground beef filling that I prepared. I got it on the side. Put it back here. You're also going to need frying oil. I like to use coconut oil. And a nice frying pan. You can bake these, but I feel like frying them is a little, I don't know, tastes better. You know what? Yeah, why not? Let me show my seasonings. Salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, and lastly, paprika or whatever you want to say. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to cut them, we're going to boil them. Alright, so here's my water. The only thing, it hasn't come up to a boil yet. The only thing I will add to this is some salt. Let's call that half a teaspoon. And I chopped up 3 very small cloves of garlic. That's the only thing I'm going to put into this water. And when it comes up to the boil, is that loud? We'll put the potatoes in there. Let me get these little pieces off. Okay, here are my potatoes all cut up. My water's still coming to a boil. And, I mean, I personally do not like to peel the potatoes. I feel like the skins have good stuff in it, and I like the flavor. So, if you want to peel your potatoes, that's fine. But, I'm not going to peel them. I'm going to put them in the water. We're going to boil them for maybe 20 minutes or so. You go in with a fork and test it. Basically, you're going to kind of like make mashed potatoes. That's kind of like what we're doing here. Okay? Next step. Alright, so our water is boiling. Hold on a second. Let me turn it down just so I could drop in the papas. If you don't have papas, you can use potatoes. Of course, you want to be careful here, because if you do that, you have that sort of accident. You don't want that happening. Alright, so I'm just going to drop these bad boys in here and let them boil for 15 minutes. I'll check them with a fork. And I'm chewing my gum annoyingly. I apologize. Whew. What I'm gonna do is, again, I'm gonna boil them for 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes I'm gonna check on them to see if they're nice and soft, and we'll proceed with the next step. There's a couple more left. Ta-da! Don't do it that way. I'm being silly, alright? You can really hurt yourself. You can get a hot surprise. Okay. 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're gonna check them with a fork. Is this camera off center? You get the idea. Gring. Okay, so for the last couple of minutes, it's been like 16 minutes, 17 minutes. I just let it go a couple minutes more. I took the top off here, and now we're gonna test one of the potatoes. Oh, some of them fell apart with a fork. See that one there? Let's see. Yeah, yes. All right, yeah, that's good. All right, so I'm gonna drain it, let it cool, and we'll get to the next step. It's fine if I just pour it in now to get some of the liquid out. And it's a lot of potatoes. Okay, so here are my potatoes. I have them here on this plate. I can't find this big bowl that I had. This big glass bowl. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. I'm seasoning chicken in it. So, okay. We're gonna let this stay out here for a good 15 minutes so that it cools down. Maybe what I'll do... You know what? I'll use the same pot that I boiled them in. I'll just clean the pot out, and then we'll get to the next step. You can also put these in the fridge, like to cool down, 5-10 minutes. But I like them to cool down just here in my kitchen. All right. All right. So now the next step is get it into a nice big bowl. Now my nice big bowl, I actually have it in the fridge. I'm marinating some chicken, so we're gonna use my wok instead. And what we're gonna do here, you're just gonna mash the potatoes the way you would as if you were making mashed potatoes. Alright? You can use one of those mashers. You can use whatever, a spoon. This is rubbery, so maybe that's not the best, but you can use a combination fork and spoon to get it nice and mashed up. Right, so I'm gonna work on that, then we'll come back with the next step. Alright, so as you can see here, the potatoes are nice and mashed up. So what is our next step? I'm going to season this with the seasoning that I use for the ground beef. So I'm going to put in some salt. You can call that half a teaspoon. Some black pepper. Same, you can call that half a teaspoon if you want. We're going to put in a little bit of the paprika, whatever, pimiento. We're going to put in some oregano. We're going to put in some of our nice onion powder. And finally, garlic powder. Notice I didn't put in achiote or annatto because I kind of want this to keep its nice white color, and we also have the potato peel in there. Remember that. Okay, to that we're gonna add in, hello, cornstarch. Can you see that? Is my camera off center? Okay, we're gonna add about a nice tablespoonful of the cornstarch. You know, I'll just put a little more just for good measure. Okay. And do you remember the eggs I told you to have on the side? So I beat 3 eggs, and we're gonna put about half of it into this mixture. Okay, because the other half we're gonna use it for dredging. That's a little more than half, but whatever. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is, we are going to give this a nice mixing. And this will be your, oh, you can get your hands in there if you like. This is why I put on gloves, to give you a good example. I'm going to get everything nice and mixed. And this is going to be our potato base. Alright. Okay, so we're going to leave this here. It's still a little warm, so I can let it cool off a bit. Let me see, there's a couple of lumps in there. You can go around and crush the little lumps. But this is fine for what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side, and we're going to make a little station where we can prepare to shape these into balls, fill them with beef, and we're going to have to dredge them and coat them in breadcrumbs and flour and breadcrumbs. Okay. Okay, everybody, so here's my little workstation. There's flour in the air. So I have these eggs. I may need 1 or 2 more. Some flour. I put the beef in this here container, and some breadcrumbs. I actually make my own breadcrumbs. So what we're gonna do is, I also have this little aluminum container on the side with a little flour. I'm gonna stack the stuffed potato balls in there. And the potato mixture I have off camera. Let me see if I can adjust this camera so you can see a little better. Alright, hopefully that's a little better. Alright, so I have the potato mixture off camera. What I want to do is get a nice heaping full of the potato. I kind of want to spread it out. And yeah, this is good. Kind of circular. And I'm going to take a spoonful of the beef and put it right there in the middle. My neighbors are fighting. I don't know if you can hear them. Okay. Then from there, I'm going to close them up. Depending on how much beef you put in, it may be very beefy. And if it doesn't close up all the way, you get a little more potato. And you just close them up. Alright. So this is good. Right? Now, this is pretty big. I'm going to put it in the flour. Get some of that flour off. I can also now, the flour helps dry some of the moisture. I can also take advantage and shape it a little more. Right? From there, get the excess off. Put it in the egg. Okay. And from there, we're going to put it into the breadcrumb. And these are whole wheat breadcrumbs. I make them myself, as I've mentioned 1,000 times before. So they're going to be a little darker than if you use regular breadcrumbs. Okay, so here's our first potato ball. And I'm going to put this on the side. And that bad boy be ready for frying. Let's do one more. Let me do one more for you, just so you get a good idea. Alright, so I have my potato mixture. I'm going to flatten it. Okay. Depending how thick you want the wall of potato, you can flatten it out more. And if it misshapes, don't worry about it. You're going to go right back. You're going to work on it, put a little more potato, and you know, you'll get it. You'll get the shape right. Beef, or whatever you want, ground turkey, something vegan, something vegetarian, Alright, we're going to close them up. Oh no, it's not closing properly. So what do? Easy. You go over to your potato, a little more. Put them on there, and I'm going to shape it. Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay. Put a little more here. It kind of opened up a little on this side. And see, it's kind of moist, but when we dredge it with the flour, it helps absorb some of that moisture. And from there, you can shape it a little better. Get some of that excess off. Okay? It works out. Works out nicely. What's next? The egg. You can actually also get like a spoon in there and like scoop it over if you like. That makes things easier for you. And into the breadcrumb. Alright, so here we go. Here's our second potato bowl. Alright? Okay, I'm going to do the rest. I'm not going to have you watch me because that would be tedious. I'm also going to refill on my breadcrumbs. And I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the final stage of preparing the stuffed potato bowl, papa relleno. I have paper towel here to drain each one when they're done. This oil is ready. I just popped it with a little drop of water. Let me show you. I don't know if you heard it. Let's do it again. Okay, so it's ready. It's on medium. So let's take our first one, put them right there. Second one, right there. And I'm going to do two at a time because I don't want too much space to be taken up in the pan because that'll drop the temperature of the oil. Let me just check this. Yeah, it's on medium. And I'm going to fry it about 3 minutes each side, depending on how you want to brown it. And I'm going to cook it on one side, flip it over on the other side, so 3 and 3, and then maybe 2 minutes like moving it around on the other edges, because these are not deep fried, so you can't get it all at once. You can deep fry in a big pot like this one here, but it's quite dangerous. So we're going to do 3 and 3, and I'm going to show you what they look like when I'm done. I forgot to show you a tactic that my mom would use. So I'm going to take a spoon, dip it in the oil, and just scoop it over on the side. That way you can get some of the other side done while you wait. It's like you're basting it to see if they're ready to be budged. Yep, they're ready. When they stick, they're not ready to be flipped over. So now, I'm going to take my spoon and my tongs and just kind of like flip it over. Ooh, look how nice and brown that is on that side. This one I'm afraid because I had it there long. Not bad. Okay, so that was about 3 minutes. We're going to do another 3. And while this is going on, I'm going to scoop oil on the sides there, carefully. And what we can do is when we're done, like I mentioned before, with the other 3 minutes on the other side, we can kind of hold it on to the sides that are unfried and maybe like roll it over a little bit. It's up to you. I mean, Everything is being nicely cooked. Alright, so I'll come back. Alright, I forgot to mention that there's a lot of residual heat, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to turn it down to low, medium low. You'll see this side got done pretty quickly. So all I can do now, I can kind of flip it over, kind of keep it on this side a little bit, roll it over a little bit, just to get that other side cooked up a little bit, which is fine. Put them there. Let's do this one. And there's a lot of residual heat. I forgot to take that into account when you put it into the pan and you're getting that first side cooked. The other side, you know, there's still heat running through it, so you want to absolutely take that into account. Also, by turning down the heat, you're also preparing it for the next batch of stuffed potato balls because they'll cook up even quicker. Alright, so this is good. This area also didn't get a lot of breadcrumb. That's why it's going to stay a little white, but let's take them out and let me do the rest. Now before you ask me why I put in 3, it's because this one's is a little smaller, so I figure that won't affect my heat much. So that's why I put in 3. Okay. Okay, so here are my rellenos de papa. They're nice and brownish. I don't know, on camera this looks burned, but it's not. Hold on, let me... Yeah, it looks nice. Maybe it's the lighting. Okay. This one's extremely light because I ran out of breadcrumbs. So I just went over it with more flour and cornstarch. So, I mean, you know, you can do that too. So it's all up to you. So how about I'm going to let it drain a little more. Maybe put paper towel over it. And that way we can cut one open and see what it looks like. Okay. Alright, so here is a relleno de papa finished. Listen. Yes. That's the sound you want. Let's, sorry this may hurt you. Cut them open here. Yes, this is exactly, ooh. Exactly what I want. And what I like to do, put a little hot sauce on there. Oh, you know what? I could have filled some with cheese. I totally forgot about that. And I mean, it defeats the purpose for me to turn them into a ball because I cut it up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The potato very good. This one happens to have a lot of potato. I'm pretty sure one of the other ones I overstuffed. So, this is how you make relleno de papa. I'm sorry for speaking with my mouth full, but it's delicious. Bye. You know what? I'm going to try the one that I ran out of breadcrumbs for. Yeah, it's not as, you know, nice as the others, but see, it doesn't have the breadcrumbs, so it doesn't crisp up. But kind of fell apart, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. Let's give it. Oh, I should have tasted it without the hot sauce first. But anyway, I'll taste this little corner here. Not bad.
just as good. I prefer the breadcrumbs, but if you ever run out of breadcrumbs, you can surely just dredge it in flour, put it in an egg, and then put it back in the flour. Not bad.